Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. We're so excited to have you again. Nigerian political world is booming real good right now. Tinubu has jet out of Nigeria to France to continue his consultation on the 2023 presidential election. But unfortunately, would I say, a key northern leader who is in charge of Northern Elders Forum says Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu are not good enough to fix Nigeria as he makes his recommendation. Talked about Yemi Osibanjo betrayal to Tinubu, says Yemi is not a slave. We are going to be looking at all of that as we journey together to the end of this discussion. But before we continue, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do well. Hit on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. Now, according to the news, convener of the Northern Elders Forum, NEF, Professor Anglo Abdullahi said the present crop of presidential candidates cannot fix Nigeria. Though he gave what would pass for a fair assessment of the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and that of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, Abdullahi was emphatic about the presidential candidacy of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the main opposition People Democratic Party PDP, Atiku Abubakar, saying they had nothing to offer. He argued that they had been around the political climate for a long time without commensurate positives to show for it, but noted, however, that Vice President Yemi Osinbanjo, who contested the primaries in APC, and a former banker, Mohammed Hayatuddin, who also aspired for the ticket in the PDP, would have made better president as technocrats. To this end, Abdullahi, who was also former Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Abu Zaria, said he would not queue behind any of the candidates in terms of providing support. Abdullahi said he would rather tell Nigerians to brace up for the trouble ahead of them should any of the candidates become the next president. The elder statesman based his mind on major contemporary national issues via a phone chat during the weekend. He said, "No, we still haven't got the man who we think will fix Nigeria. What we have on ground is not good enough. How can you look at Tinubu and Atiku to say they are the ones who will fix this country? They have been on the ground for the last 25, 30 years and so on. What have they done? What are we looking for? I was the one who encouraged a technocrat to join this consensus. You probably had seen Mohammed Hayatuddin in the group of people going around looking for a consensus arrangement in PDP. I was one of those who encouraged him. We haven't got the material on the ground, unfortunately. Peter Obi, unfortunately, I don't know him that much. He is a young man. He was a former governor of Anambra State and he is a businessman. Kwankwaso is a good young man. He started his politics with us and he is quite smart. No doubt about it. Of course, we had some of these debts that he acquired or he must have picked in other political formations and so on. But clearly, he is one of the bright ones around. No doubt about it. I believe we have not had good array of politicians. With due respect to some of them that one saw contesting, I am not being selfish here by referring to certain people like Professor Osinbanjo. He is a quality material, but the political system will not tolerate him. Asked if what Osinbanjo did by running against his political godfather Tinubu was not tantamount to betrayal of loyalty and trust, Abdullahi said those were not what the country needed. According to him, he said, "What has it got to do with what Nigeria wants? Is he a slave to the former governor? I don't understand this kind of analogy. Professor Simbanjo is a human being entirely on his own merit, and his accomplishments are entirely his own, and people should assess him as such. Those who needed his service asked for his services. When he served as the Attorney General of Lagos State, he was invited by the political system of Lagos State. This is the way I look at it. And when he became vice president, I understand it is the president stroke the party that identify him as qualified and competent enough to be the vice president in the current dispensation. Why shouldn't he be? Because he served under XYZ, he should be identified as an individual for leadership in the country. While asking Nigerians to prepare for the troubled days ahead, should any of the candidates become president in 2023, Adula, he said, "What I will tell Nigerians is that we are in trouble." And the way out is for Nigerians to agree that Nigeria is in trouble and that the machineries that are on ground today that are expected to find solution to the challenges facing Nigeria are not appropriate. And we have to go back to the drawing board to see what we can do to serve Nigeria of the future. I believe the politicians have failed. I believe My belief is that the political class has over the years failed to produce the kind of quality leadership we require to deal with the problems of Nigeria, and which means that we should look for quality materials, not necessarily within the mainstream political parties, from outside. And there have been a lot of discussion in Nigeria recently about technocrats. Abdullahi also decried the 100 million naira cost of presidential nomination formed by the APC before the primary election. He regretted that the country's elders has either gone to sleep or joined the politicians rather than working to rescue the country from imminent collapse. According to him, he said, "How can you pick a form for 100 million naira? For what? I mean, this is a clean sign of irresponsibility, a clean sign of responsible corruption because, or irresponsible corruption because somebody whose total salary is 4 years, assume he is president, his total legitimate salary is in 4 years will be, I think, 34 million naira, even with the current salary that is being given to president. Why should you pick a form for 100 million naira and you are not even sure you are going to win the election? So there are signs that the entire political system is corrupt, and unless we go back to the drawing board and do the correct things that will make Nigeria participate in the process, there will never be a time we will have good candidates from the grassroots. How can you say it is only one person from my local government who can represent me to elect the president? How? The elders have relaxed themselves in crowd of irresponsible political class, and they are just shouting like all the politicians are shouting during campaign. There is no difference between the elders now and the politicians on ground as far as I'm concerned. But what I thought the elders should do is to agree that this country needs real fixing, and therefore we should sit down and seriously look at the issues and objectively and honestly and truthfully agree that these issues facing Nigeria, not the issues facing northeast, northwest, or north central, or southeast, southwest, or south south, should be tackled headlong. Wow, this is a good one coming from Ango Abdullahi, the convener of the Northern Elders Forum. And I expected him to speak like an elder, which he has done, you know. And I think all why he's saying all of this is the man is already tired of crying over spilled milk, which Nigerian will always do after electing the wrong person. You see, everybody, this one will come on newspaper, this one will go to this media, this one will stay in his house. There will be personal medias going out there just to express disappointment in the performance of the government and all of that. That is uncalled for, you know, and that is why periods like this should be taken seriously to elect the right person. Let's forget about this ethnic sentiment. It will not help us in any way. It will not help us. Let's forget the fact that this man, when he comes on board, is going to favor me. Is he your own president? He is going to be the president of the entirety of Nigeria, not just a single sect. It's just the entirety of Nigeria. And if he's going to be ruling over 200 million people, we should be looking at a situation where everybody will be smiling at the end of the day. Every morning as you wake up, at least 80% of Nigerians are smiling and going to their different work, their business, their farms, and all of that. That is why Ango Abdullahi is saying what he's saying. And I think that both elders and the youth should sit back together. Let's forget about the political maturity or popularity of political parties and all of that. It's not important right now, because we are the ones that own the votes. No matter how intelligent a man is, no matter how smart, no matter his political pedigree and all of that, he can only offer one vote. He can't offer more than one vote. And if we know he can only offer one vote, why can't we as masses unanimously choose someone we know we can smile at the end of the day that we made a good choice? Why should we be trading our own, votes and all of that? It's uncalled for. The man has clearly made it clear that Atiku Abubakar and Bola Ahmed Tinubu are not good enough to rule this country, and he gave us reasons. They have been on board for as many years as before. We know that Atiku Abubakar started politics far back in the 90s. We also now know that the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu started far back in the 90s. In 1993, when NRC and SDP were coming up, he was part of the team that helped the late the late Yoruba man who was there, going for late Abiola, who was vying for presidential position. And 1999, we saw him as the governor of Lagos State. Let's take a look at all of the things that he has done thus far, and also his integrity, his track record, and all of that. And on the basis of that, judge him greatly among all of them is health. Because when there is no health, there is no way you can function perfectly. We look at the ages. Look at the likes of France. How old is their president? When he came on board as a president, was just 39 years. The United States of America, I think 44 years. The first guy, Barack Obama also. If we take all of this into consideration, it will help Nigeria to make their choice. Right now, it's very important for us to sit up and forget about ethnic sentiment, religious sentiment, give it a name, political affiliation, and all of that. Let's look at who will correct it. Can the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, give them names? There are many. Would they be able to fix the country? Please, this is very, very important. We're talking about our future here. And Abglo has done his part as an elder by airing his opinion. Don't forget that what the elders sit down on the ground to see, the youths cannot see it on top of the roof. They can't even see it. So what this man is saying is trouble ahead, as he has rightly said. He said Nigerians should prepare for trouble ahead if you choose any of these guys. So it's for us to sit back and do what we are expected to do on that particular day, go en masse and vote not for political party this time around, but the candidate who would transform Nigeria from the dunghill that it is right now to the mounted top, where it will be one of the countries to be celebrated in all ramifications. That's where we would like to leave it. Go to our comment section. What's your standpoint on what Anglo Abdullah